Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Jay Tahoe's Fabulous Stream, episode number 5. I am live this evening with Everlasting MBD. Good evening, man.
Hey, good to hear from you. Happy to be on.
Yeah, man. Glad to have you. Everlasting MDB. He's been in our Moon Network Discord, and I really appreciate you, taking your time to come on the show because what was really eye catching about you is that in a place where there is really a lot of negativity and people, where there's a mantra of it's over, you're really a pretty positive guy, and it's okay. Can I go ahead and tell everybody your height?
By all means.
So Everlasting told us that his height he is 5'1". Um, and he had a lot of really interesting experiences, and I just thought that this would be a really good show to hear from you and everything. So before I start the show and everything, I gotta ask, what
Mhm.
does the MBD stand for?
Well, you guys can consider yourself something special because there are people who have known me for years who don't know what MBD is. But because the person who gave me the name MBD is likely heading to prison, I might as well let you know. So this isn't a very happy story, but I guess it had a happy ending. But a couple of years ago, I lived in a place where I was training, and it was a terribly abusive environment. I'm skirting past a few details, but we can get deeper into those. But these are things I tell my counselor. Okay, sorry, but I was in an abusive environment, and I was training, and we were all trying to get fit and strong and do a bunch of sports stuff that we can get into later. You'll notice my picture here is a very athletic guy, but there was a lot of hazing going on in that house, and a lot of that hazing involved people seeing things that only the storks should have seen. Oh, come on, this is a pretty open and honest show. It involved people saying the penis. Okay,
Yeah.
but people noticed something about my penis when a bunch of people who weren't supposed to see it saw it, and I'm black, and it's odd enough that my penis is actually darker than the rest of my body. Like, it's Marcus is black, but his dick is black. So they ended up naming my penis Matt Black. So, and also because I dealt with so much abuse and the fact that no one, I had fallen on solid concrete, got several stitches, had my eye busted open. I can show you all the pictures of this if you think I'm talking out of my butt here. But they were like, Marcus can't die. He's everlasting. So it was everlasting Matt Black Dick.
Everlasting. Wow, man, that's we're not even 3 minutes in, and I think you've already made everybody's night. That's a story, man.
Oh yeah, and the details that I cut out. If we get into the other details, it's a long story, but my counselor knows about most of it. So we can get into that stuff later.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and obviously share what you're comfortable with feeling, but with sharing rather. But but nice. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So as you said, you were training, and as we see from your avatar there, it looks like you might do a full contact sport. Is that correct?
Well, I am slash was because of COVID, and I don't want to get people sick. I am slash was a professional wrestler. And if you Google me or find my Instagram, which is Everlasting Everett, you can see a little bit of me in action. I did not come here to plug my Instagram. I just, if you want to add a face to it
Oh
or
no,
understand that
plug
this is
away,
real.
plug away, man.
So if anyone wants to quickly check Everlasting Everett on Instagram and see a little bit of me wrestling, go ahead. You're more than welcome to. I am unfortunately famous for an incident that had over 1 million views all over the world. I would tell you about it, but it won't. But two things: one, it won't be hard to find, and two, it involves using my real name. Before we started, on the stream, I said, "Oh crap! If I had thought of it, I would have asked you to look it up 15 minutes ago, and I would have asked you to look it up 15 minutes ago, and you could have asked me about that. But I just want you to know once people on the internet are savvy, finds out what I'm accidentally famous for, once you connect the dots with Everlasting Everett and all that stuff, screw it. I don't need to be secretive about it. I missed an elbow drop from about 30 feet up and landed on solid concrete, and you can find it on YouTube.
I will definitely be watching that after the stream. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
So
It's quite embarrassing, but I don't really care about it anymore. And also the outcome of it was actually pretty good. But the only reason why I seem kind of tired of talking about it is because I talked about it for 3 years straight. People are like, oh my God, how did you survive falling 30 feet? I'm like, because I didn't feel it. But again, you can go find the video. I don't know. You could go YouTube IWA elbow drop or something, or Botchamania elbow drop. All you have to do is that. You'll find it. I don't care. I'm not embarrassed about it. It happened. It's part of life, and I'm in a better place, honestly, because of it.
when you said you didn't even feel it, that reminds me of I know you're a Dragon Ball Z guy, right?
When Vegeta was fighting Pui Pui,
And he says, "I don't even
don't
feel it."
feel it. Yep.
Um,
Yep.
oh,
Yep.
we have the buffering is awful. Hey, I did hear a little buffering. Can you guys just let me know? Am I coming through clear? Who's not coming through clear? All right, trying to you can hear me clearly, right?
I can hear you.
All right, you got a little buffering on your end. Maybe adjust. Are you far away from the mic? Too close to the
Nope.
mic?
I'm right here.
All right. I hear it a little bit, but I guess we'll continue and hopefully it improves.
We'll carry on.
All right. So you mentioned that you're 5'1". You did professional wrestling. Oh, another question I was going to ask you. You're 5'1". Also, approximately what is your weight?
170 pounds.
170 pounds. So that's pretty beefy, man, for that height. Because I'm 5'7" myself, and I'm 185 approximately. So I'm pretty beefy myself for that height. So that's pretty beefy, huh? Did you have to do that for the professional wrestling?
As Vegeta would say, push-ups, sit-ups, plenty of juice.
Yeah, to sell, right?
Yes, but no, I guess I've always been into fitness since about seventh grade. Um, I accidentally did a bunch of sit-ups, and somebody was like, "You have really nice abs," and I didn't even have nice abs. I was just skinny at the time, and I was like, "I need to do more of that working out stuff." And then I got really into Batman, and I got really into Captain America. I got really into superheroes who didn't have powers, and I liked watching Vegeta training montages. So I always tried to have really good cardio, really good endurance. And then I looked at the BMI chart. The BMI chart says that if you're 5'1", weighing over like 130 some pounds is overweight, and weighing 160 pounds was obese. And I was like, I want to be obese. And so I started, eating chicken, steak, mashed potatoes, and like I want to get fat. I want to be obese.
Hey, hey, I don't want to interrupt the story there, and I agree that those BMI charts are actually pretty broken because they pretty much call everybody fat, not taking muscle into account. But everybody in the chat is saying that you're coming through really choppy. Are you using headphones or anything?
I do not have headphones. Oh my goodness, I'm very sorry, guys. Let me see if I can fix it. If not, it's going to take me it might take me a few minutes. Do I sound any better?
You guys tell us. Does he sound any clearer?
I'll do my best.
It was a little bit better there.
Okay. If things get bad, I could try to fix it, or maybe if I leave a good enough impression, we can do another stream, and I'll have a better connection. I'm actually moving. I will be in a different house next week, so that's nice, which with much better Wi-Fi. But I do apologize for right now.
And I'm wondering too.
Because our sound test came in good,
Yeah, I
didn't
could
it?
hear you okay when we did our sound test earlier. It wasn't Okay, now they're saying in the chat that it's okay right now, so I
All
guess
right.
we'll upward and onward, right?
All right. Yes, sounds good. I'll do my best going forward. Okay. So
Yes, sir.
now what do we want to do going forward?
So I was gonna say, okay, so you were telling us a little bit about the BMI charts. You were like, okay, I want to be big. Um, so that's your background with the professional wrestling and height and weight. So I was actually just gonna say, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, your experiences? Introduce yourself, man.
Well, hey guys, as said right here, I'm Everlasting MBD. It won't be incredibly hard for someone to find out my real name and the embarrassing video about me on YouTube. It'll be hilarious. I lived and I didn't get hurt and I didn't break any bones as soon as you guys find it. That being said, let's see. I've been I noticed very should I say I noticed very quickly I wasn't growing much? Eh, none of that really bothered me. I had some pretty decent parents. They tried to send me to a Catholic school. That didn't work out. They sent me to a Christian school. That didn't work out. They sent me to a public school. I guess that was okay. Nah, it didn't work out. I went to college. I liked some girls. I got friend zoned a few times. I did some thinking. Sorry, I'm just glossing over a bunch of stuff. We don't need to know all my. I was always the educated, inquisitive type of person. And I met some other girl in like 2014. Thought I fell in love. Um, it was really stupid. I guess that was the only time I really simped super hard in my life, or maybe a second time. I don't know. And then I didn't. I ended up not talking to a girl for 6 years. I got myself into pro wrestling and traveled a bit. Traveled through about half of the United States. And then I said, you know what? Oh, and I ended up getting a different job, all that other stuff, and you can ask me about that stuff later. And then while working a bunch of different jobs, I said, huh, I asked people to I asked people to do really sophisticated sales with me, things of that nature, but I haven't asked a girl out in years. So I just said, screw it. I'm gonna go start talking to more girls. And so I started talking to more girls and things started really working out in my favor. I ended up with a girlfriend for a while. And that ended, but it's fine. And I'm by no means alone, angry, mad, sad, anything like that. And I'm wondering, I'm waiting for you to ask me why, so I can give you my big answer about why when it comes to height.
So what I was actually going to ask you is, you said you're not you've had a couple of relationships, okay? And you're not currently with anybody right now, and that's fine. So you know a lot of people. A word that gets thrown around the black pill community a lot is cope. I'm sure you've heard it, right?
Oh, of course. And I would just be, like maybe the capital of cope. Who knows?
A
I've got a lot.
cornucopia.
Yeah, you put a cornucopia in a cornucopia.
So what would you say to people who what would you say to critics who would say that that's cope, or or you don't really feel that way? What would you say to somebody with a philosophy like that?
Oh, to say that because I was wondering what cope means. So you're saying cope is like I don't really feel that way. I'm actually really dead or angry or mad or something inside, but you just do this or that to cope with it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so that I think is the context when we see on the Discord and in the Black Pill community when people say cope. I think that's the context in which they mean it. When people are positive or say like, oh, this doesn't bother me that much. A million people start spamming cope. Like for example, there's a YouTuber. His name is Incel TV. And he did a
Mm-hmm.
video the other day about how Donald Trump ended Mike Bloomberg's career by calling him Mini Mike. And he goes like, if somebody calls out your height, your campaign is over. Remember, like if you're short, it's never enough. And I think I commented just to troll. I was like, well, I'm 5'7", and that's enough. And somebody immediately commented, cope. So
Well, there we go. So here is my big answer that I didn't tell you before we got on the stream, or if anyone ever asks me about like height or anything like that, it literally doesn't occur to me. That's quote unquote my secret. My height does not and never did occur to me, and I'll tell you when it did occur to me. I guess. So I was at a graduation party. There was this girl that I quote unquote liked in the 8th grade. Got super friend zoned by it, but hey, that's my own fault because I had no idea how minds worked and relationships and framing worked. But some girl, I liked her, she didn't like me, whatever. And I was at a graduation party, and a friend of mine came up to me and said, uh, "Man, I always thought you would have ended up with that girl. Too bad she only likes really tall guys." And I was like, "Oh crap, that's why." "Oh, it's because I'm short." And I was like, "All right, cool, that's cool. There you go," and just jogged on. Oh, but really, is someone had to point that out to me, and it didn't occur to me, and nor did it ever really stick. Like what I've noticed when it comes to my height, because it's a real thing. I can't pretend it's not there. When it comes to positivity and whatnot, I don't believe someone should be delusional. That's like walking into a garden and saying, "There are no weeds, there are no weeds." No, that's delusional. But really, I've noticed that everybody else makes my height a big deal. Like everybody else is. I'm not. I don't really care. And one of the best answers to being short is so. Like that's really all it is. Because once you squash it, that it's not an issue to you, they'll understand it. Because something I learned about people is people will only do to you what you allow them to do to you. That's just the fact of the matter. One thing that short people have to deal with is they need to prove more because yeah, we want to believe that lookism is a thing. And if you go all the way back in time to like all the evolutionary stuff, women were only looking for a big strong man who looked like they could protect them from predators and give them decent mates or something like that. The funny part is society has actually changed and the rules aren't that stringent anymore. All you have to do is just show that you can be stable, that you can be strong, that you can protect somebody, and we have so many different ways to do that. It's not about always having like the biggest traps. Sometimes it's about having, the biggest cave or a bigger stick than the other guy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I actually wanted to cut in for a moment because, as you know, I'm not a tall man myself. I'm 5'7", and what you're saying is pretty much like. Have you ever felt that somebody just attacked your height kind of as an ad hominem argument because they didn't have an like you were so good at whatever it is you were doing, or you were so winning the argument or whatever it was, they immediately ad hominem and just like,
Oh,
you're short, because they knew they had literally nothing. So in a way it's almost like a cope on the other person's part. It's like, well, I can't actually win the argument, or I can't actually beat him at whatever the thing may be. So I'm just going to attack the height because I know that's the only thing I have to go for.
oh, and that's always that's the fun most fun landmine. And yeah, I've dealt with ad hominems a lot because I'm well versed in putting together good arguments, Socratic arguments, things of that nature. Okay, so I've gotten attacked.
Mary C loves your positivity, by the way. Sorry to
Hey,
cut it.
that's awesome, Meredith. Well, there you go. So I have been attacked a lot, and actually, I love it when that happens. It's kind of like you just activated my trap card. Okay, so usually, because when I notice I'm in an argument or discussion with somebody, the argument isn't for the person I'm talking to. Okay, it's for the people surrounding us, and they're going to see when they pull some sort of ad hominem like that just how weak their position is. But if I'm feeling frisky that day and want to go low, usually it's not hard to insult other people. Okay. And something that people will attest to, especially if my friends that I invited to the chat pop on, they will point out the fact that if I decide to insult someone, I can tear them apart in very worse in much, 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 much worse ways. Because yeah, I can't fix my height, but you can't but you have had all this time and can't read a book. You've had all this time and still make less than minimum wage. You've had all this time and you want to complain about this, or or you're broke and you're voting for that candidate, like things of that nature. There's so many better attacks you can have or better comebacks you can have. And here's the other funny part. Here's the other funny part. I'll actually give you a story in wrestling, okay? That my height can actually be a weapon. So I'm big. I'm sorry for any wrestling fans here. I just got to tell you, pro wrestling is fake, right? Okay, pro wrestling is fake.
Wait,
But
what?
yep, pro wrestling is fake.
Oh
I'm
my
sorry.
god, sorry, I have to go rope. No, just kidding. Continue.
Yep, we got that. That's just sui fuel. So I was in a match with somebody, and I whopped him. I hit him pretty hard, But wrestling's fake. We're not supposed to be really hurting each other. But this dude, he was when we got to the back, he was complaining about how hard I hit him. And was talking about how much this is bad, how much that is bad, whatever. I'm just like, do you know how much of a he was talking about how small I am too. And I said, do you know how much of a bitch you look like complaining about being hit by a guy my size?
Yeah, I mean, I think
He's
like it's So actually, I wanted to ask you about that too. In the world of wrestling, were most of your opponents, a lot bigger than you?
all of them, all but one opponent I ever faced was ever smaller than me, and you can find him on AEW. His name is Marco Stunt. I did wrestle him one time. And that was a good time. So I did wrestle Marco Stunt once. I never posted the match to YouTube because we both had botches, including the end of the match. It's not a very good match. But yes, everyone was always bigger than me. And the thing is, like
What's
every single
what's the biggest opponent you've ever wrestled?
probably his name was Alex something. He was like 6'7", and he dropped me square on my head for quote unquote making him look weak because he had a problem lifting my little butt up. Okay, he could barely pick me up for a power bomb. So in order to look weak, so in order to look strong, he dropped me on my head, and I'm like, that was an awful experience. So yeah, everybody in wrestling was bigger than me, and every single day in professional wrestling, I was reminded of how small I was. So if you really think I could afford to care about it every single day, that you're gonna be reminded you're short, like, bruh, like the thing is, when I'm not in wrestling, if a girl she tells me I'm short, I'll be like, I've been told worse by better. Like, what's that matter? Why does this matter?
Right. So I was gonna say too. So obviously you've hit and you've been hit by larger opponents.
All the time.
Are you able to fend against the big 6 foot guys? How does that work?
Oh, always. Well, I'm incredibly durable. I didn't get that name Everlasting for nothing. A lot of people who know me believe I should be dead right now because of some of the stuff that I've survived. And there we go. None of that really matters. And also, when it comes to quote unquote a real fight, uh, there's something else that I know that I had to learn. I didn't grow up in the nicest neighborhood. It's that there are no rules, and there are certain parts of the body that can't ever be made stronger. And so, if I'm afraid of anybody, and also I'm short. Everybody's got two knee joints. Everybody's got testicles. Everybody's got a nose and eyes and other pressure points. So I'm not worried. Um, I'm not some super strong, tough guy, but I did one time manhandle some drunk guy at a party one time, and I did have to hit him in the throat.
And
See, here's a side note. When it comes to being short, your disadvantage is the fact that you have to show things. Because if a girl sees Chris Hemsworth walk by, that's over. They're like, I've already got the idea in my head. Chris Hemsworth is the bee's knees. That's it. Okay, cool. A short guy, they don't see it, so they don't sell themselves on it. So our disadvantage is we have to show somebody something. So one of the advantages I had was wrestling because I would be out there doing cool things, doing my flips, doing my punches, whatever. Or people might see videos of me training or things like that, saying me, I don't know, doing backflips or throwing punches or kicks, or me posting about anything that I might be doing that's improving myself. One of the issues with being shorter, one of the disadvantages is you have to show people because they don't believe you. And that's why statistically, short people end up in more fights than taller people because no one will test a taller person. Does that make sense? But you're
I
also
actually, yeah, that's very relevant. I've always said this too, my whole life is that that's really my, I'm not always the most secure about my height because I'm a very confident person. I know I have a lot of competency in most things that I do, right? I ran track in high school and I won a lot of races against a lot of quote unquote chads or whatever. And I've been successful in the professional world. And I want to get into you in the professional place next. But what I will say is like, yeah, that is true. That's my only gripe is that I always feel like, even if I can beat somebody at something, they're always going to assume that the taller person is better. Now, there's times when like I actually know that I'm the better athlete or I'm the better person at the job or something. But yeah, you're right. You do feel like you have to constantly prove things, and that's why they call it a Napoleon complex. But
and here's mhm,
I've kind of just accepted that be competent, be able to win whatever the thing is. And then people are always going to assume that people are, because lookism exists, halo effects exist.
mhm,
But be in a position where you actually can back it up, right? Because then it's actually sometimes
exactly.
it's actually really humiliating for the taller person when they lose. I've had people,
See, mhm,
I'm I just want to share an anecdote real quick. One time,
yeah, by all means.
I was in seventh grade. And I was doing like a 100-meter sprint, and I was by far the smallest guy there. And I remember these two girls from in the bleachers look over to me as we're lining up, and they go, "You're gonna lose." And then the gun went off, and I actually blew everybody away by like almost like a full second, and it was just a dead silence. And I just walked back with a smug little smirk, to my team. So
Mhm.
it's like, it was like, okay.
Yeah, and that is something we'll have to deal with. And but here's something else that I noticed. And no, I don't believe there is such thing as a Napoleon complex, because any achievement that they will automatically attest to a Napoleon complex, a taller person just did it and no one said a word. Did they have some sort of complex? Like, why is it suddenly a complex if I do something and I figured it out? And now, not to say that I know everything, but I realized through a lot of studies that humans are inherently selfish and we inherently think about ourselves first. And if you see somebody achieving something better than you are you're faced with three options. You will congratulate them, like, "Ooh, that's awesome," or you will look at yourself and think, "Oh crap, I need to up my game." Or you will look at yourself and try to take everything away from them, like, "Oh, you only got that because you had nice parents. Oh, you only got that because you had that job. Only you only did that because you're short and want to prove something." That's what I've noticed people do. I had that happen to me when a friend of mine, she's an Olympic athlete, Paralympic athlete, and she has traveled the world and she's out here killing it. And she only has use of half of her body. And I was like, what am I
Wow.
doing with my life? She is literally half a person. I don't care what you say, half a person. She also look through a straw and close your left eye. That's how much she can see. And she can tell a horse to move. And she can travel the planet doing it. I felt pretty insecure around her. And I'll be like, "Oh, you only do it because you want to prove something against your half working body." Wait a minute, what kind of thoughts were those? So I had to get those out of my head as fast as possible and get back to celebrating all wins.
Yeah. No,
Hmm.
that's pretty incredible, actually. I mean, I'm not going to ask,
Yep.
what the condition
Yeah.
is or anything, but that's. It sounds like
Hmm.
you know some very outlier people. I mean, you yourself are, in all senses of the word, an outlier. So
Absolutely an outlier. I can't say that I got the magic or silver bullet to say, "Oh, if you do what I do, everything will work out." Absolutely not. There's just a few methods that have worked out for me and worked out for a few people around me. So there might be a good idea to it. Is it the cure for lookism? Is it the cure for, for a lot of the issues that are faced? Absolutely not. But can it get you in a better position and make you happy to look at the person that looks back at you in the mirror? Probably.
So I wanted to actually move to another topic now. There's a YouTuber called Pygmy. His channel is Clown Town with a K. Have you ever seen any of his content?
No, but I think saw someone mention the name Pygmy.
He's 5'3", and a lot of his content, it's it's very negative. He talks about lookism, how like his height has not only impacted his dating life, and that he's a quote unquote incel due to his height, but also that in the business and professional world, he's looked down upon and passed over for management positions due to that, or maybe not him, but he postulates that that's the fate of short men in general. So I kind of wanted to ask you, outside of professional wrestling, what kind of business do you do, and has your height impacted you in the professional world?
All right, so here's what I gotta. It's so strange. It's. I worked in a job selling jewelry, and I've noticed something throughout all of my jobs that I've ever had in my life until a couple of years ago. I don't think I could ever get ahead in many of them. Some of them might have been due to my own failures, but I always framed myself for a very long time as just this little student who just wants to learn. And everyone, when you look at my height, you're probably gonna look at me as maybe some sort of little brother. I don't know. And I always thought of myself as like this strong leader and all that, yada yada blah blah blah. But I once had a girl, what was she, like 5'11", look at me and tell me, I couldn't take you seriously. I think she said that to me. I was working at Kroger, okay? So would I say that I've been passed over, or things have been difficult for me in the workplace because of my height? I'm really trying to think of it. I'm trying to think of it. And it is a true statement that people will actually buy products more from a taller person or do what a taller person says, because I work in sales. But I put myself in a position where that isn't a problem for me because do you know what I do for a living?
Yeah, you've told me, but if you want to,
Yeah,
tell
yeah.
tell the
Okay.
stream just to get
So
everyone caught
me,
up.
I work in real estate, all facets of real estate. No, I'm not rich. I don't miss meals, and my bills are paid. There you go. But when it comes to real estate, um, I can control how much volume I have, how many people I talk to in the week. And if somebody doesn't want to work with me, they don't want to work with me. If you just perform the way you're supposed to and do what you say you're going to do, people will always come back and sometimes will mention that I'm short. People will mention that I'm black. I've heard people say, "You're the most articulate black man I've ever met." I've heard compliments, quote unquote, like that before.
I
You
was
know,
actually going to ask you not only the height, but have you experienced any of the racism coupled with the lookism too?
absolutely, all the time. Like people are like, "Oh my goodness, it's so amazing." Thinking of the neighborhood that you came from. Like one of my neighbors actually just got shot a couple of weeks ago. So there
Oh
you
my
go.
God.
Yep. Shot and killed. I knew him. I knew him in the fourth grade. 30 years old. He's dead now. Oh well, it happens like that. That sounded really cold how I said it, but it's happened so much around my neighborhood that I'm like,
Let
dang
me
it.
just can I answer this comment real quick, and then we go back
Yeah,
into
go ahead.
so Meredith C says, "What's a true sell?" A true sell, I would say, is somebody who's in like the bottom like 10 to 20% of men in terms of like looks, could be mental capacity. They've just got a lot of things against them. We're talking about a guy who's like 5'3", balding, recessed chin is the example that we always give. It's a guy who's like extremely unlucky in terms of genetics or mental capacity, and because of that, it's like it's not even like he can like luck out and like meet somebody. It's that he's probably going to experience a lot of rejection and hardship in life, and he's
Mhm.
probably not going to get a good career or intimacy in his lifetime. That's the
Mm.
definition of a true sell.
Yep.
Anyway, I didn't want to interrupt your story, so please
But yeah,
continue.
so to say I've experienced it, I guess I experienced it in like in a passive aggressive manner. Like people say that, or people like, "Mom," some people that I work with who weren't my friends, like if they contacted me off of Zillow or some sort of website, they're like, "I didn't expect to work with you," or something like that, or "I didn't expect the business to go this far," or anything like that. I've heard things like that before, but to say, "Am I passed over for promotions or anything?" This is like that big brain meme. You don't have to worry about promotions when you're your own boss.
Oh snap!
Big brain meme. Like none of those things occur to me because I figured out a long time ago. This doesn't make me better or more successful than anybody. I figured out a long time ago. I'm not good at having jobs, like jobs. I can't stand them. I can't do them. Yeah,
Do
yeah.
do you think that's because you're so obviously we've identified that you are an outlier. Is it when it comes to like quote unquote jobs, right? Is it boredom? Can you not deal with the people? Like what well, when you were in those jobs, what was the typical treatment from your coworkers and management like?
The typical treatment is I was always looked down upon, and something else that I've realized about being short and about being black. And I'm not again, my race is my race, but here's the thing: a short person or a black person, whatever, or here we go, incels got to fly to reach a place that Chad can walk to. How about that?
Yeah, that's fair.
There we go. So I've always been looked at that way when I'm in the regular workplace, and I'm not gonna get any. It looked as if I'm not gonna get any better than this, or I'm gonna have to work hard and cry hard and do all this stuff to pay for somebody else's trip to the Bahamas. I remember one of my bosses was like, "Hey, if we all do this much better on jewelry sales this week, I get a trip to the Bahamas. So work hard, everybody." Like, motherfucker, what? What? Why? Why do I want you to? You gonna bring me a seashell back or something? Jeez, what's wrong with you? You know
You
what I
mean
mean?
you didn't want to simp for your boss?
No, I didn't want to simp for my boss. I didn't. I did not want to. And again, nothing, absolutely nothing is wrong. Nothing is wrong with those jobs or the people who do them, and they deserve to be paid much, much, much more. I have worked in food service. They deserve more money. Jeez. So but I was just discovering that it's not for me, and I'm not going to get anywhere. It's not doing well on my mental health. I'm getting mad every day. I feel like I'm in prison. Feel like I'm in prison every day. And something else that I'll say, because I'm not super special. I'm not perfect. When I don't like something, I tend to, I guess the term is lash out, but not lash out violently. I mean, it's just like, oh, you just lost your job. What are you going to do? I'm going to travel half the United States wearing little trunks and kicking people in the head for money. You get what I mean? So
That's
I'm
I
a
wish I
person
could
who
do that. I wish I could kick people in the head for money, man.
I know, but hey, you know what? You know what's also nice? Beds and actual food. So it ain't all it's cracked up to be living that carny life. So
How so did you go into real estate because you realized that like these jobs just weren't working and you wanted to, be your own boss? How did you get into that?
I always wanted to be my own boss ever since I got into my first scam multi-level marketing scheme. But um that being said, no, I got into real estate. This is very sorry if this thing takes a sad turn, but my sister is incredibly sick, and I came back home to help take care of her, and I was working some dead end job, and I said I need to do something that can. What I want to do is get my sister a one floor, fully handicap accessible house, and I was like, how am I going to do that? How am I going to do that? And it just popped in my head, real estate. So I went to the library and I read a bunch of books on how to do real estate, and some cool things happened, and bam, I'm in the real estate business. It
How
it
long
took
did
me
it take
three.
you to get your license?
It took me well, let's see. I made a decision to get a license about a year after bird dogging for other people. It took me about 6 months to get my license.
Okay.
It should have taken me 1 month to get my license, but I ran into a few snags along the way. One involving my dog getting cancer, and then I paid all my money that I was going to use for this college to save my dog's life. So that was a good time.
Wow, you and your family have really been through some hell, huh?
Oh, brother, Thanos snapped half my family last year. Not kidding. I dang lived in a funeral home. It was sad.
And yet you're still here. You're still out there fighting the good fight, and you sound like a pretty positive guy, man, despite all the bad things.
A bad mood's a waste of time. Who's it going to help? Crying, whining, complaining doesn't solve anything. Figuring out what's wrong and then working on what's wrong. Because when you get sad, when you get anxious, when things go, when you get sad, anxious, worried, scared, that's just a warning sign that something you don't like going on is happening. So I'm like, oh crap, why do I feel this way? Oh, because I have some existential dread about this contract that's coming up. What should I do? Work on the contract. Okay, cool. Or oh god, I'm scared. I'm worried about I don't know if this girl might reject me or something. What should I do? Talk to her and get your freaking answer. Just get your answer and jog on.
Right, right. And I think that was a big fear that I had when I was younger too. It's like, oh my God, like you spend more time talking yourself out of actually talking to the person
Right.
rather than just, now it's like, okay, hey, is this happening or not? If not, cool. All right, on, and then if
Many
not,
of us,
on to the
yeah,
next one.
many of us reject ourselves before a girl even gets around to it. Like that's just a fact of the matter, man. And not to say they aren't going to reject us. They are. It's going to happen. My uncle, he passed away last year. My uncle told me something that never went away. He said the only way to win a knife fight is to know you're going to get cut.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with that more. I've told a story on a stream or two. I've been in a fight with a guy who was 6'6", and it ended up I ended up de-escalating it without violence.
Mm-hmm.
And my mentality was I walked into his chest, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was ready to just let him rain blows on my face to get to his kidneys or his throat.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew I didn't think I could win the fight, but I knew I could end it in a draw. Because like at the end of the day, I'm a pretty beefy guy, for my height. I'm like 185 pounds. And when I was younger, I was bench pressing like 250 pounds. I've run a sub 5 minute mile when I was younger. I'm a pretty athletic dude. So I was like,
Hey.
maybe I can't win, but like I was like he's definitely not gonna leave without some serious pain. And I think
Oh
the
yeah.
guy read that in the body language, and I think it was like again, like don't go to a knife fight without getting cut. I was fully prepared,
To get cut.
to get punched
Yep.
in the face several times by this guy.
It's
Maybe even we both go to the hospital, but I was like, no, I'm gonna get him. Like if this gets physical. Luckily, I think he read the body language that like I was really gonna do it, and like it ended up like oh yeah, whatever, man.
It's
But
really funny. They do that all the time. Note a lot of bigger people have never been in a fight, anything like that. Again, I was sad to see this happen because he was my guy. But watch Deontay Wilder fight Tyson Fury. He was used to his opponents cowering from him. But when Tyson Fury walked toward Deontay Wilder, he literally froze up and didn't know what to do. Yep.
yeah, and then
So
you had all the Mike Tyson fights in the '90s where you had all those opponents. Mike Tyson was 5'10", and you had people like Mitch Green, who was like 6'5". He knocked out after
mhm.
he knocked out Leon Spinks, who was 6'3" in 45 seconds. I think everybody was pretty much just crapping their pants before fighting him.
Exactly. But you had to show him. So yep. All right, but we can. But I don't know if people sign on here to talk about sport ball and boxing.
Yeah, no, probably not. So I do wanna move it along, and then we can actually go. I'm gonna probably in about 10 minutes. I'm gonna go to callers if anybody wants to hop on. So actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the
You guys enjoying yourself so far? Hope I haven't been boring you.
No, I think we've gotten some good insight from this. I'm just gonna post the StreamYard link into the Discord real quick and onto Facebook in case anybody wants to come on in a few minutes.
Mhm.
In the meantime, this couldn't be a quote unquote black pilled show without me asking you about what has been your experience with your height in the dating world. Have you used online dating apps, and how and what has been your experience?
All right, so I'll be honest. I will be honest. My height is not on my Tinder, okay? But my Tinder does have a picture of me and my mom. So if they're not going to reject me for my height, they're going to reject me for being a mama's boy.
Well, you're mom maxing.
Yes, I mean, I'm just like, guys, I care about my family. Um, I actually met my last girlfriend through Facebook dating. No, no, I didn't meet her through Facebook dating. I went on a date with one of her friends who then introduced me to her accidentally. And I'm like, oh, if you ain't gonna date me, then I'm gonna go date your friend. So that's how that happened. But let's see. Um, my height's not on my Tinder. There was a little joke I used to do. You guys ever care for the Arctic Monkeys? You ever care for Arctic Monkeys?
I've seen them. Didn't they what song did they have? They no, that's
Do I
not
want
what
to
I'm
know?
thinking of. They used to play the videos on Cartoon Network.
Do I want to know? Well, long story short is I would go into this bar, this karaoke bar, and play the song. Sign myself up for the song "Do I Want to Know," and find any random girl who would let me sing that song to them. And yeah, I got rejected outright, uh, 1,000 times, and then at least one girl would let me sing the song to them, and there we go. It worked. I mean, again, it's the whole thing about the knife fight. You know you're gonna get cut, but here's the fun thing that I didn't. This is something I didn't get into. So I read this in a Robert Greene book, and no, I'm not super into all that the delusional self help. But Robert Greene has some great ideas in his book, Art of Seduction, 48 Laws of Power. You all know him, and Laws of Human Nature. But he wrote in one of his books, the quickest way to know you don't want to go into a restaurant is look into the window and see nobody else there. All right, people go along with crowds. People go along and see what they want to see what other people are doing. What's interesting. Why is everybody watching this show? What's everybody talking about? What's a baby Yoda? So, and then people also like controversy, things that don't make sense. Like, you're not supposed to do that. So I'm short. I'm not supposed to be attractive. But what I did is I ended up talking to a bunch of girls, and whether we were friends or whether we were friends or whether we had hugged, whether we did anything, people are always going to assume, well, then those two are fucking something like that. You're going to assume that, even though we're not. So what I would do is I would talk to a bunch of other girls. Not success. A lot of these people not interested in me at all. But any of the ones that might have been are looking like, why is that short guy talking to so many different girls? Why is he actually getting text messages? What is going on with this person? And they just want to find out. It's that FOMO, fear of missing out. Like, find out just what the buzz is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think
So, so
it's kind of like a yeah. Anyway, continue.
yeah, so the thing that actually aided with any attraction while people were acknowledging, isn't he short and has a weird looking nose and he's also black? What's going on here? That actually got some attention, especially with as I said, the girl who was my last girlfriend. Her best friend went on a date with me, and I would do ridiculous things. I've had some of the worst one I've had some of the worst like pickup lines. Like, I've been like a parody of myself sometimes just to have fun, just for me. So a girl doesn't know that it's like, you have to say yes to me or I will explode. That gives them all of that power. Okay. One of the things that I noticed people are afraid of is they're like, oh my God, the women have so much power. I don't have a problem with that. Cool. If they want to have some power, go go try at it. But something that gives them all the power is making them your only option. And a lot of guys make a girl their priority when to a lot of girls they're only an option. Don't make somebody a priority if you're only their option. Don't do it. Wasting your time. Gonna hurt yourself. Okay. So if I'm out here with a bunch of different options, the girls are going to try to seek to become priorities. They don't even know why they want to do it, but that's just what they got to do. It's some sort of weird bit of pride. It's like getting that stupid achievement on Xbox Live that takes way too much time. You just got to have it. Why? Because that's just how it works. And I actually had a girl say, I've had two girls say to me that I am not their type. But the thing that got them interested is the fact that I was talking to a different girl.
I think First has talked about that on his stream too. Um, but yeah, definitely interesting, man. I agree with you there. It's kind of like, and by the way, I think that response a lot of people would say is kind of red pilled.
Go ahead.
Which I do agree with. But I've always been the same way. It's like, you get one rejection. It's like we can do this all day, right? I'll get like 10 rejections. It's like that is true. That is why a lot of I think like in society, a lot of women are like, oh no, is this person hitting on me? What am I going to have to deal with rejecting them? Because a lot of guys, blow up if they get rejected. I've always just been like, yeah,
Hmm.
whatever. Like next. And I guess that's kind of your mentality too. No.
Yeah, it really is, because rejection is really just part of life. Because I have as much a right to reject them as they have to reject me. Short people are not some girls type, and I've got some girls that are not my type. And
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah, and but you have to genuinely not care. You can't just say, "Oh, well, I'm not going to care," because that's not genuine, right? You have to really be like, "Hey, my life is not defined if this person I find attractive, likes me back or not. If it doesn't work out, then there will be someone else."
Yes, and the thing is, you can't attach your value to somebody else's opinion of you. You're just setting yourself up for disappointment. And that was a lesson I didn't know in the eighth grade, that I attached to somebody when I didn't even know what relationships or liking somebody was. So there you go.
Well, I think we all at some point seek validation in our lives. I don't think
Absolutely.
that's a uncommon thing. I think part of maturity is realizing, that yeah, like there's people whose opinion you want to care about, right? Like hopefully your friends, your close
Mhm.
family and everything. You wouldn't want to do something that would that they wouldn't approve of, or that they would have disdain for. But it's like at the end of the day, you also got to realize you're talking to somebody you literally just met. Don't give that don't give them that, especially if like it's somebody you just met, right? It's like okay, hey,
Exactly.
I think you're cute or whatever. But if it doesn't work out, then whatever, there'll be someone else. But the problem is genuinely feeling that you can tell like this is where I think red pill has a little manipulation. 'Cause it's like, oh well, you have to act like you're the man and you're a catch, and you don't care about the rejection and you're not bothered by it, and and be strong and everything. That's great, and I agree with that advice. But you actually have to think it, because when you're out right in public and you actually
Hmm.
think something, and you're trying to be fake about it, I do think people can read that. Like we're not giving
Oh,
people
oh,
enough
that's
credit
so
here.
true. That's so very true. And this is why I do apologize for how red pill this is going to sound. But this is all that did it. It had to have been the 6 years, because I not everybody's going to have 6 years for them, okay? But I spent a lot of time understanding that I'm good at what I do. I am secure in myself, and I got happy. I guess I got happy by myself, and it didn't really matter. It became like a byproduct. Vegeta didn't turn Super Saiyan until he didn't care to do it anymore.
That's a
Did you
that's
ever notice
actually
that?
a really good point. I think the scene from the show, what does he scream like? I don't
I don't
care.
care. And then it happened. But the thing is, what I what I was just at that time was I was secure in myself. I mean, I was like, I've traveled and I've worked hard, and I've gotten yeses, I've gotten no's from other places, and I'm just like, whatever happens happens. I'm just out here enjoying myself. I'm out here having fun, and we'll see if anybody wants to join in on that fun with me.
Yeah, it's actually
And it
pretty
gets
it's kind of uncanny. You and I have had
yeah,
some pretty similar experiences,
that's pretty
and
cool.
I think that kind of explains how in a community where a lot of people are like, because I'm not gonna lie, man, it annoys me when I see guys who are like 5'9", 5'10", they're crying about not being 6 feet or 6 feet two, and it's like, first off, like you should try being 5'7" or 5'1", and then but you and me kind of look at it as like, well, at least we're not a double amputee. Like there's definitely people who have it a
I
lot
mean,
worse and have probably done more.
exactly.
So
Yeah, as I said, my one friend with half a body, and she don't complain. I mean, there you go.
so you probably see a lot of times people in black pill, they quote this 80-20 rule, that where they say that, oh, in the animal kingdom, and a lot of other species, it's 20% of the males who mate with 80% of the females, and women are only attracted to the top 20% of men in looks, and you can back that with science. But
Mhm,
what just dawned on me, and I never said this in a previous stream, because I agree with a lot of black pill tenants that lookism exists, and obviously
mhm,
you and I have been rejected a lot of times due to our height. But we've also done decently well. Like I'm happily in a relationship, right now for the past year and a half.
mhm.
What dawned on me the other day is that, like the 80-20 rule. Um, that's there's physical attractiveness, but I think what's being missed, what guys like Face and LMS get very wrong, is that um that the 80-20 rule can exist right for peacocks because the top 20% have the shiniest feathers. But animals don't have the IQ. Animals don't have personalities, quote unquote, right? They have
Yep.
temperaments. Nobody says, people would say that's a nice dog or that's a nasty dog. They don't say that dog is hilarious, dude. He's the life of the party. Or like, that dog like gets so pissed off if you rile him up. He's nice, or he's nasty. Animals don't have personalities, right? Because a house cat has like an IQ of 15. They don't have
Mhm.
the brain capacity to have that complexity of a personality. And I never realized that's kind of like a reason that like the 80-20 rule. I'm sure for physical attraction there might be something to it, but that's one. And I tried to nail. Have you ever seen Face and LMS's streams?
Streams, no, but I've wanted to have a conversation with Face for a while since I saw him have a discussion with two like dating gurus, and I don't know. Part of me saw almost where Face was coming from when he was like, "Do your techniques after dumping acid on your face." I remember him saying that.
Yeah.
But other than that, like there were a few things that I didn't appreciate that Face said, and he was very quick to say, "Well, that's ad hominem," or he would say, and again, I got no ill will against Face. I did like the acid comments,
No,
but
I
what was
think
the thing? What was the thing he said? It was like they pointed out that he had low self esteem but a high opinion of himself, and I don't know. I just found that interesting. I've always wanted to have a conversation with him. But yeah, I haven't seen his streams, but I know he talks a lot about plastic surgery and things of that nature.
listen, I like Face's content. I think it's very high production value content. I think he's a very high IQ guy. Sometimes I think he overthinks things. He definitely shows, data and evidence to back his claims.
Hmm.
But there was a time when I was on his stream and I asked him, let me nail you down to this. Is there a psychological component to attraction? And he said yes. And then we quickly changed the subject. But it's like, I don't think anybody's really arguing that looks, are a big factor in attraction. And obviously, like people like me and people like you are, it definitely, our height is certainly not helping us when it comes to physical attraction. But there are things you can tell. I can tell by your voice, right, that you're a pretty confident guy. I can hear it. You have a certain bravado to you. So there are things like that you also can't deny too. So what would you say to people who are like, it's just genetic determinism. If you're ugly or short, it's over.
Just be confident, bro. Just be confident. No, no, no. Okay, sorry about that. But no, it isn't because the fact of the matter is, it's not over only because I said it wasn't. Like when you said it's over, you agreed that it was over. Sorry if that sounds super red pill, but what I ended up doing is about people think, oh my goodness, nobody likes me because they don't find me attractive. Well, be happy that we're in the age of information and the age of you having to do more than, as I said, have giant traps giant shoulders in a cave. You can do other things to make yourself attractive. I listed out a few of them. Does that make sense? You can see, as I said, through my voice, through the way I walk, through how, if I am surrounded or something by different people or things, or things like that, people will see me and get that idea that, okay, this person is not defeated. This is a person who's standing tall. This is a person who I might want to be around this guy. I made a comment on this on this on this network, and then you immediately gravitated like, huh, that's somebody I think I want to talk to. It happens like that. It just happens like that. And that's something that, you work on and you build up, and I do apologize for the red pill. You work on yourself first about it. You have to be attractive to you first. And I don't care if that comes through, reading books or gym maxing or whatever, and it better not be a bunch of self-help books that say the exact same thing. I'm saying actually learn something. But be you first. You got to just be proud of you first, because if you're not proud of you, no one else is going to be proud of you. Things spread like fire, ideas and things of that nature, and things catch on.
Hey,
Things catch on. And if someone gets the message, I'll say this and be done. If someone gets the message that you haven't given up on yourself, that you're betting on yourself, they'll wonder, why should I bet on you? And they'll just catch on.
cool. And we have a guest joining us, and I'm gonna start guests in just 2 minutes. So I just want to make a final point real quick. I agree with you there, because if you can't, the advice just be confident is crap, because you can't fake confidence. And I said this on a face stream once. You need to give yourself you need to actually be able to back something up. You can't just fake it, right? Like, and my
Mhm.
opinion of and for me, it was as easy. I know everybody's so tired of hearing about the gym maxing, but for me, right, like, I really did have a very low opinion of myself before I, got into all that, right? And then by the time I was like outlifting my peers, and I was, putting up 250 pounds, not many kids in the school could do that. My opinion of myself became a lot higher. My height, I was still short. My face didn't change. So that was the only variable that happened there. So that, like, while I'm not saying that, like, lookism doesn't exist, because my advice, for people who are like 5'3", 5'2", because I do think it does put them at such a advantage, is, sure, go out and buy those shoe lifts, right? They make you feel better. I've done
I'm
them
not about it,
before.
but okay. Yep.
But
Yep.
for
Okay.
some people,
Hmm.
even if it's an extreme case, okay, save your money and get your surgery. But at the end of the day, if that doesn't still make you feel good about yourself, the end result is going to be the same. I'm about to start bringing callers onto the show, so anybody who wants to join, please come into the StreamYard lobby. We have one. It looks like my brother is joining. But I did want to ask you, my final question to you is, what is your advice for people who say it's over? And overall, how much of a roadblock in your life has your height been?
Okay. Well, what I have to say to people who say it's over, it's you decided it was over. And it doesn't have to be if you don't say so, and you just have to find some way to be proud of yourself. And if no one else wants to catch on to you being proud of yourself, that's on them. All right. With that,
5'2", because I do think it does put hey, them at such Go Canes, can you
oh,
mute your mic, please? Go out and buy those shoe lifts, right? They make you feel
oh,
better.
we
Canes,
got a recording
mute,
going.
please. I'm gonna mute him. I'm gonna mute there. Okay, he's muted. Sorry. Finish your
It's all good.
point. I'm so
And
sorry.
how much is my? And again, if my height has been a roadblock in my life, um, it's either one of two things. One, I haven't noticed it, or two, thank God I'm good at parkour. I played a lot of Assassin's Creed, and said I want to try that out. So I need to jump over those walls. There you go.
Badass.
Yep. Okay, so let's get into questions if we have any. I hope we're having
Yeah.
I
Oh,
hope
okay.
we're having,
You are getting a hey. Go Canes. Can you please? Yeah. If you turn down the volume on YouTube, you won't have that in the background. And I have Marami Jeeks wants to join too. I'm gonna bring him in. Um, All right, so it looks like we have two guests. We've got Go Canes. That is my brother. Good evening.
Hey. Hey, Go Canes.
He's on mute.
Hello,
And we
Maramie.
have Maramie Jeeks. Welcome back to the stream.
Whoop, whoop.
Maramie Jeeks, are you there?
Oh, yeah, I see it's still on mute.
Yeah, they're both on mute. Hey,
Nah,
Maramie
I think I'm just listening. I
Go
don't really
Canes
have
is
anything to
here.
say at the moment.
Hey, what's up, bro?
Regardless, I love you, Go Canes. You're cool. Hello, Maramie.
I think he's Maramie Jeeks, are you there? I know he had some audio issues the last time he was on the show.
Oh, is he back?
Not sure. We will come back to him. So, hey, bro, were you listening to most of the stream?
Was watching House.
Hey. Hey, much better use of your time. Much better use of your time.
Yeah, I don't know
I
who
like it.
I don't know who watches this garbage.
Doctor shows are nice, and then the whole I saw the rat medicine meme.
Yeah. Hey, Maramie Jeeks, is your audio connected yet? No, he's okay. So anyway, bro, let me bring you up to speed. We were just doing an interview with Everlasting here, who he is 5'1". He was just sharing some of his experiences. He does real estate. He's done professional wrestling, and in a basically you're familiar with Black Pill, where everything is super negative and it's over. He says that things are not over.
What do you mean? I don't. What's not over?
Like how people in Black Pill say that, like, if you're super short, you're never gonna get a girlfriend, and you're gonna be, your career is never gonna go anywhere. It's over.
And yeah,
But why? Why? I don't.
because
Can you hear me?
lookism is a thing. Is that Maramie?
I
Because
think
Yeah.
lookism is a thing,
that is.
and people look at the lookism and then count themselves out immediately, and
Hold on.
it's a shame that it happens. Hey, Maramie.
But
Hold on.
I feel like
Can
don't
you hear me or no?
Yeah,
I can hear you.
Jeremy, we can hear you now. Let's just if you can put yourself on mute for just a minute. Well, let's let Go Canes finish his point, and then we'll go to you.
Okay.
Anyway, continue.
Aren't you're saying it's not over? But aren't you isn't what Jamie is just talking about? Aren't you like a direct contradiction of that very idea? I don't know.
Well, no, he disagrees with that philosophy, but he shared some really good examples tonight as to how it wasn't over for him.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I guess that's fair. I don't know. I'm sorry. I haven't been listening. I was just kind of coming on because I was just bored.
You guys,
have interesting conversation.
You guys were the first to hear it here that I am such a huge cuck and a simp. My own brother doesn't watch my show.
You're on a lot. It's hard to keep up.
No, I know.
And to be honest, there's just not that much on Netflix right now, and Amazon's kind of limited. So this is where we're at.
I mean, you could go watch the new Mulan movie.
Yeah, I don't have Disney Plus. I did just get the new Tony Hawk game though, so that's pretty good.
Oh, he's Tony coping.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Do you have any other questions for Everlasting?
Do I have any questions?
Yeah.
Am I back?
I mean, sounds like you guys had some good spirited conversation. That's cool. I like it. Keep on keeping on, man.
Can you hear me?
All right. Cool. No, thanks for calling in.
Maramie
Jeeks, are you there? Yeah, you're here, Everlasting. We can hear you.
All right. Am I there?
Great.
Yep. Maramie Jeeks, we can hear you. Yep.
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I like the last guest. I think he had some good points. He seems like he gets how things are today. And I mean, I have to say, like, that stream was kind of blue pilled. I mean, I hate to put it out there. Can you hear?
Yeah, we can hear you.
It was kind of blue pilled. Like, I don't know. You're just telling us all this stuff, like, oh, just like fake it, guys, and like, oh, it doesn't affect me. But like,
No, we're not saying to. We're not saying to everlasting. To be clear, were you ever saying to fake it?
To be clear,
Everlasting.
what?
Oh, you're getting some bad static now.
okay,
If I'm staticky?
Uh-huh.
Am I
I just want to
staticky?
read out this comment real quick. Meredith, he says, plus he's tired of playing cards. Yeah, that's because my brother. He's a nurse, so yeah, he's got a lot of cards to play. Yep. But yeah.
Am I coming in clear?
Yeah, now you are. Okay, can continue.
Good.
So, Maramy, can you make your point one more time because his audio is coming through clear now. You're clear too.
okay. Um, you just blue pilled. Like, I don't know. I hate to kind of sum it up like that, but you're saying, oh, it's not just looks. It's like psychological or something. But that's just not true today.
What would your
Oh,
response to that be, Everlasting?
to say that it's blue pill because I said it's all just psychological. See, the thing is, the truth, I guess, to the black pill is that lookism and heightism, that stuff exists. But the fact of the matter is, it existed, and let's see, what's the best way to put this? It existed, but the difference, I don't care it did. It actually didn't occur to me that it did, and it hasn't stopped me from reaching any and all of my goals. The only difference is some people have rejected me for being short, and I've counted it up, and I've counted it as a good thing. Like, if someone wants to reject me for being short, they've shown me. So I don't want them in my life.
One of you guys
Is
has a
that?
bad echo right now.
I'll fix it.
Okay.
I'll fix mine. I might leave
Is
for
this?
just a moment.
Wait, hold on. I'll mute mine.
Okay, Maramy, that's you. You've got the bad echo again. You
Yeah,
got the
I
static.
should be. Am I back now? There we go. I think I fixed it. Had to do some surgery on my. Yep, had to do some surgery on my Wi-Fi. I fixed it.
Yeah, you're coming through pretty clearly. Let me just see if mine's bad. I'll go. I made my point. Okay, Maramy, if you can try talking one more time, but you are getting some pretty bad static. Let's see if you can fix it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's still there, but let's try.
Yeah,
Let's try.
I can hear him. Yeah.
No, if it's bad, I mean, I made my point. I don't want to clog the stream up with static.
Well, your point was okay, and you're fine for that. I'm just trying to figure out. So it's blue pill. It's not that way because people's psychologies do these certain things. I want to understand before like try to discredit what you were saying.
Yeah, the static's too bad. I'm gonna have to hop off. But...
I understand. That's okay. But we can, if you want, you can message me here. We can talk privately about it and all that fun stuff. And
if I could just chat some ideas, I guess you could come out, discuss them.
Sure.
That's okay. No static. All right.
Maramy, thanks for calling in. Okay. I did want to address his point though. He's saying that this podcast tonight was very blue pilled. Yeah, I would actually agree. It was. It got even more blue pilled than I thought it would be, since I'm somewhere in the middle on the issue. It's just funny how you and I we know about this stuff. We've seen Face and LMS. We've seen the Black Pill Discord. And it's for us, I never because I've been okay. Everybody always tells me, oh, it's not that bad. You're 5'7", you're about one standard deviation below average. When I heard, when I heard, that you were 5'1", and you were still doing okay, and you still aren't in this mentality, I knew I had to have you on the show, because it's like, okay, maybe there is something more. People would say, that you're an outlier, and that is certainly an outlier height. But it's just like, I know I'm not crazy. You seem to be in the same mindset that I am, and they're just gonna say, it's delusional. But it's like, you've been in relationships. I've been in relationships. I'm in one now, and there's people, crying about being, 5'9" or 5'10". It just like, I'm sorry if that is blue pill, but there's got to be a reason other than you and I just get lucky.
Well, there really is, but here's the reason why. You know what? The issue I had when he said, "Is it over?" and I said, "It's not over." Here's the thing: someone described their situation, and they said it's over for them because of like marriage laws, and domestic violence laws, and spousal rape laws, and things of that nature. I'm like, you know what? That is over. Okay. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
so now what was I saying regarding it being over? Man, again, the only answer I can give here is I don't know if it sounds red pill or blue pill, but like, man, no. When you put in the right sort of effort, when you put in the right sort of effort into yourself, you get the things you want literally as a byproduct. That's just what I've seen happen, and I've seen it happen with way too many people that say like, "Oh,
That's
this is just some lucky situation."
that's been my experience in life too, is that like a lot of times when I start doing well in one area, the other things kind of just start falling into place. So I'm glad that,
That's
somebody
how
else
it
can
goes.
confirm that this has been, yeah.
Yeah. So it's something I can't like give that fast, quick, witty answer on.
So Maramy commented, I know his connection kind of crapped out, but he said, "What do you say about looks on online dating, which is growing exponentially today? You can bring up my own experiences."
Finally, there we go. Okay,
Mingle.
here's the thing. Whoa, now I actually do have an answer. This is seriously my solid answer to that. People Most people just shouldn't online date because all that's going to do is be a giant cesspool that ruins each and every bit of your self-esteem. You have no idea how many people I swipe by that said, if you're under 6 foot, don't even swipe right. You see all that stuff. If I wasn't looking at that stuff as comedy, or if it wasn't funny to me, of course. So why are you going to go to a place that is almost specifically designed to wreck every positive opinion you might possibly have about yourself? Like when Goku went training, he went to King Kai's place. He didn't go, to some place where he was going to be treated like trash all the time. Does that make sense? I think the thing is, one thing that we have to do, because dating for us is harder, is it has to be a little bit more. We have to work a little bit more in person, and we have to just be more comfortable with being face to face. We have to. Online dating is not going to work out for a lot of people because it's based solely on looks. It's based swipe left, swipe right. It's not going to work out. So don't look at that don't look at that resource to work out for you, because it's not, and it's only going to make you feel worse, and it's only just going to add to suey fuel. So I would say shuck away with all that and find different avenues to meet people. Go to your libraries, go to your bars, go join social groups, join charity groups, things of that nature. Join a theater. There are great places to meet people. But online, especially for someone who thinks they count as an incel or don't think they look that good, it ain't gonna work out. You're literally going to a place to get kicked in the nuts every freaking second? Who willingly would just walks up and says, "Hey, everybody online, go kick me in the nuts"?
I mean,
You're probably
I'll
you're a
disagree with
masochist.
you a little there because
But
I will like I obviously like I met my current girlfriend on online dating, and I've used it several times. Had a bunch of rejections. Had some dates or whatever, and some of it went really well. I will, however, like whenever I want to get good at something, I will actually like throw myself into like an adverse situation. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm a masochist and a glutton for punishment. I actually think you grow. Me personally, I respond better I actually respond really well to adversity. So for me, it's like, all right, if it works, it doesn't work. If it works, then cool. I mean,
it's
for me, it has worked, but I do agree with you. Like if you're not somebody who responds well, if you're not thick skinned and can't take seeing that all the time, then don't be there.
it's not for you. That's the thing. Like, I can't say all this stuff works for everybody because a lot of it works for me because in some cases, theoretically, I either have thicker skin or I'm some sort of a weird masochist. I don't know if that's the word for it, but me, I don't mind the fact that I'm going to be rejected. But there are a lot of people who aren't ready for that yet, and they're going to have to, work their way into it where they're okay with being rejected. But until then, as said, they need to stick to libraries, theaters, anime conventions, all that fun stuff. That's they're gonna have to do. But if you're trying to put yourself out on Tinder and you're not ready for that stuff, you're gonna get yourself hurt. You're just gonna hurt yourself.
First said it on one of his shows that online dating is really just a supplement for somebody who already has who already has a dating life. And you know what's interesting is like when I started using like the online stuff, I'd already had a relationship that I met through a social circle. And I think your presence online, like granted, if you're Chad or Tyrone, of course people are just going to match with you automatically. But your pictures and what you put in your profile communicate a lot more about you and your
Mhm.
mental state than you think. I never even realized this. Like the way that you come off in your pictures, your body language, your facial expressions. That says a lot about you too. And if you don't have a good opinion about yourself, even if you don't think you're communicating that, you could be communicating that. Because it's you and I have both been there. Like I said, I did not have a good opinion about myself before all the working out. And I think that was communicated in my demeanor, whether I thought it or not. I might have thought, oh, just play it cool, be confident. But again, like we've never said like people are gonna be like, it's blue pilled, just be confident, bro. But I've said this on Face's stream, and you pretty much confirmed it tonight. You can't just be confident. You need an actual reason. So maybe before you focus on the dating, focus on getting really good at something, focus on developing yourself, because then if you can't back it up, it's like we talked about, the tall person who didn't want to fight because like once push came to shove, they knew they couldn't really back it up.
Mhm.
So that's where I'm kind of, and that's why I feel that I've been, successful in most of my jobs, been promoted into management positions. Why you found the success you have, because it's like you gave yourselves reasons to back it up. I just lost him from the stream.
Hey,
There we go. You're
I'm back.
back in the stream now.
I'm back. Am I
Okay.
back?
Yeah,
Hey again.
you're back. So Recessed Bones wants us. Can you talk about how I've done online? So
Oh, how you? Oh, yeah.
I've this is a guy that I've talked to in the Discord. He hasn't actually had anybody meet up for a date. He does get a decent amount of matches. I will say that. So obviously, like people clearly find him attractive enough to match him. I've seen him. I personally rate him about a 6 out of 10. He's like slightly above average looking. He is 6 feet tall, well, like 5'11" and a half, but who's counting at that point? Um, Keeping in mind, it's also, we are in a pandemic. People don't want to meet up.
Yep.
There are a lot of women who are just adverse to meeting up anyway, and then there's the people who are just on there for validation. There was one actually that comes to mind where he was showing me, his message thread, and I could immediately read the person right away. I was like, okay, now this person is this person's just here for validation. And like, there's times where like I'm very good at reading people. So there were times, myself when I was, looking to meet people and I was like, no, this person's a time waster. And I knew it right off the bat. How are you at reading the cues like that?
Oh, you're talking. Oh, reading the cues of what people want
Of who's
online.
actually interested. Did you ever have people like when you were on online dating apps who were time wasters? Like the conversation was basically going nowhere.
It's either I'm gonna see. Here's something that I kind of learned honestly through a little bit of sales. It was just like no free time and define things as soon as possible. This is also something I learned in pro wrestling. Like if you're in front of a crowd that doesn't know you, you have to define who's the good guy and who's the bad guy right away. Like understand, making people understand what you're doing here and why you're trying to do it. Okay. So that being said, if someone did swipe with me on Tinder and I was interested or they were interested, it was very quickly, hey, what are you doing here? What do you want to do this for? Let's talk a little bit. Let me learn a bit about you. Would you like to meet up? Do you want a video chat? Not to be, you got to learn some tact about it, but just find out if they feel comfortable doing those things or when they feel comfortable doing those things.
Have you ever met somebody off of Tinder specifically?
Yes, I did meet someone off of Tinder. I've only met one person off of Tinder, and she happens to be an Olympian who can only use half of her body.
Neat.
And I will never take that. That is a great experience. She's still one of my best friends to this day.
Cool.
Yep. But yeah, I did meet Facebook dating was a little nicer to me than and I had some video chats with people from Tinder, but then we discovered on those video chats that we weren't going to work out. So it's all good. And then Facebook dating, I did end up meeting I did meet face to face two people from Facebook dating, and I mean that was
did
what it
they know
was.
you were 5'1" before you met up?
Okay, so
I gotta ask.
I wonder if she's on the stream because I invited her. But I did meet someone from Facebook dating. We met in person. She got out of the car, looked at me, and the very first thing she said is, "I didn't realize I was taller than you." And I was like, "Okay," and I think I said something like, "Okay, is that a problem? Like, are we gonna go in and eat this food or not?" Like, and that was kind of the end of it. I guess I just said so. Like, here's something else that I learned. Again, I hate that I'm about to talk about sales stuff. I feel like we make mountains out of molehills, and there's something called like close over the objection, just like sweep it to the side. It's not a big deal if you don't make it a big deal. And I just said, yeah, I guess you're taller than me. Okay, let's go eat. And me and this other girl are, oh, sorry, I do apologize. Me and this other person, they are non-binary, are still are still friends to this day, and actually just met up the other day. We fired a bow and arrow. We did archery practice.
Cool. That sounds like you guys have fun. And no, actually, I don't see anybody. Did you send this person the StreamYard link or the YouTube link?
The StreamYard link.
Okay. Yeah, we don't have anybody here.
Sorry. No, I do apologize. I sent them the YouTube link. Oh no. Yeah, the YouTube link.
That's why they're not in the. If you want to bring someone on, I do think I'd like to keep this stream maybe another 10, 15 minutes because I think we've been going on a while and we addressed some good content. But if anybody else wants to come on, or if anybody else has a point to make, I think we'll go like maybe another 10, 15 minutes and we'll call it a night. But yeah, so if you want to have them on, just do you have the link I sent you in Discord, right?
Yeah, but if I do my little thing, Majig, I will disappear for a second.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Yep. So
I can ask my brother about house. So
Cool. I'll be back in a second.
All right. Sounds good. All right, bro. How's house? I think he went to go play cards.
Nah, I'm playing. Yeah, I'm playing some Tony Hawk right now.
Oh, Tony.
They remastered it really well. It looks pretty cool. Not gonna lie.
That was the game, man, back in like 1997.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This game. It's just remastered Tony Hawk Pro Skater and Pro Skater 2.
Yeah, no. I had heard they were remaking it. I haven't had a chance to play it or anything.
It's the same game, same control.
Sweet. Does it still have all the secret characters you can unlock?
I haven't gotten that far. I don't know if you remember, it's pretty difficult to like chain together the combos and stuff they want.
Do you remember how you could like unlock like Spider-Man and Darth Maul in like the first?
Is that true?
Yeah, I think so. It was either the first or the second one, and I think it was only on the PlayStation version.
Yeah, this is the PlayStation version. I'll have to look that up.
There definitely was a Tony Hawk with unlockable secret characters.
They got to remake Underground though. That's the one.
Yeah, that was a sick game. I remember playing that at a friend on our street's house many times.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, pretty interesting conversation you guys are having. Huh? I was just listening. I don't really have any good input, but.
Yeah, he's actually about to bring on somebody he had met. So
the one question I would ask you guys, I was saying this to Abby because we're in the room. What do you say to the people that aren't like black pill or blue pill, the people who just think everything's random? That's not my opinion personally, but.
Well, I think those people don't even like pay attention to content like this. To be honest, I think people who are here, they're probably blue pill people, I guess, are not aware of any of this, right? They just think that we live in like the quote unquote like Disney world, right? Like everybody has a big fancy wedding, with a big ring. The bride wears the dress. There's someone for everybody. You just have to be yourself. And then the red pill is more your behavior. You have to improve your behavior. You have to improve your financial status, your body. Your red pill is you have control over certain things that affect your overall attractiveness. And then the black pill is the modern day deterministic philosophy. It's your genetics dictate everything. If you are ugly, people will always treat you badly, which is gonna hurt your chances of promotion in the workplace. People aren't going to want to listen to you, or if you're short, you're going to be passed up and whatnot. And it's the same thing. You're going to be treated badly by women and so forth. That's the black pill in a nutshell. It's determinism, whereas the red pill, you have more control, and the blue pill is you don't have to do anything, just be yourself, because the world is all butterflies and rainbows.
Yeah, but so what do you say to someone who just says everything is just random though? Like
Everything
it's not looks, it's not anything. It's just everything just happens random.
Well, I guess that's kind of that. I mean, that is kind of how the world works. Like some people do just luck out. I mean, the world, it's entropy, right? We're moving towards an ever more chaotic state.
Well, entropy, things are falling apart. Yeah.
Yeah, we're moving closer towards just total chaos, which I think in life we kind of are.
I do apologize. I wasn't able to. I can't get anybody on in a timely manner.
That's okay. I mean, maybe we can do. We might do another stream sometime. So they
perhaps
call in as a guest.
Again, if the people like me enough, if they didn't, and I'm just a bunch of the blue pill or red pill jargon, it's fine. But as I said, just the whole thing that happened. This stream didn't even need to take an hour and a half. It never occurred to me that being 5'1" was a problem. Everybody else brought it up that it was a problem for them, but it was never a problem for me because it was just my warning sign. It was them telling me, as I said, they're a shallow cunt. I don't need to, care.
I just can't figure out where I'm gonna get the air to do my
So at the end of the day, what I just did is put myself in environments where my height didn't matter, or I didn't have to answer to to other people's opinion regarding those things. Can everybody do that? Absolutely not. Can everybody do that? No. Does that make them worse or anything like that? Absolutely not. But that's just specifically what I did. I had to, create for myself an environment that allowed me to be able to flourish and not have to worry about their opinions or the way other people wanted to price me out. Because I hear it all the time that I'm not supposed to be accomplishing these certain things. I hear it all the time.
Yeah, that's such a good feeling too when somebody tells you you're not supposed to be able to do something and then you just do it.
The reason, and a lot of the reasons why they do that, is because they have those other advantages, and if they see you skirting ahead of them, they have to find out some sort of way to validate themselves that they're not failing in some way, shape, or form, that they're actually doing it right. So that's just. Oh wait, hearing me might be a little worse, but that's just how that one goes. Can you still hear me properly?
Yeah, I still hear you.
All right. So, I guess a few people who stayed on the stream long enough, should they get the gift of the uke? Should I play him off with a song?
Yeah, I was actually gonna say, let me just go around and have everybody make their final points, and then we would love you to serenade us off, because Everlasting MBD is not only an accomplished wrestler and real estate agent, he's also quite the ukulele player, and I verified this right before our show. So before we go, bro, do you have any final points you'd like to make?
Nah, I'm good. You guys do.
All right.
Later. And Everlasting, final points before we go.
You know what? No matter what happens, I love you guys, and whatever you want to do, just honestly work on yourself. Something that I learned, call it red pill if you want, is progress equals happiness. And I was happy even by myself, knowing that I was getting better and feeling more comfortable in my own skin. Once I liked me, it was game over. All right.
There it is.
So,
play us off,
let's go.
keyboard cat.
Talking away. I don't know what else to say anyway. Today's another day to fight. Trying to now we coming for your love, okay?
Take on me. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Everlasting MBD. Thanks again for coming on the show, and everybody have a great night, and I will see you all soon. Good night, everyone.
Appreciate you. Goodbye.
Take care.